Hello, everyone, and welcome to another broadcast of Northwest Georgia Cryptics. I'm Rick Weaver, and I'm joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Blake Duckworth. Blake, how's it going tonight, buddy?
Pretty good. Sitting here listening to it rain.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of it up here the last couple hours, anyway. Been pretty heavy. We're actually we're to have a guest on tonight, Mr. Michael Gouger from a former deputy from Alabama. We're still waiting on Michael. Hope he'll join the show here momentarily. Uh, but for right now, until he comes on, we're going to kindly talk about a little expedition that we did the other night down in Bartow County. Blake, you got any thoughts on that, buddy?
The K2 was pretty cool. It was, of course, I had to stay over there with Kirsten because she was a little spooked, and you said you seen the eye shine and stuff, but the only thing I really had happen down there that night was the K2, which was kind of ironic because I had the K2 the whole time on down there. I had it and never once went off, and we're sitting there at the truck, and where we had got an EVP about a green truck years ago, back 2011, 2012. We had a great little toy green truck that we'd set on the ground, and I was going to say something about the green truck, and we got EVP, something saying green. Well, we just happened to mention that, and as soon as we mentioned the green truck, the K2 started going off. And it went off until pretty much we left. Periodically to certain questions. And
Right there for about 30, 40 minutes. It did. The K2 just, man, it was hot. It's kind of awesome night. We stood there, and as Blake said, Blake had mentioned something about the green truck, or I did one, I can't remember, but as soon as we mentioned the word green, the K2 meter, man, it spiked out. And as Blake said, the whole time we were there asking questions, we were getting spikes on the K2. And done that for about 40 minutes. It was actually pretty wild. But as I say, that cemetery really, since 2011, has very few times has it let us down, as far as paranormal investigation or Bigfoot investigations, either one. We've had a lot of activity down there over the years, and I don't know, there's something close to my heart about that place. I enjoy going down there, whether it's daytime, nighttime. It doesn't really matter for me, but it's really an awesome place to go and check out. And if there's any Bigfoot enthusiasts out there or paranormal enthusiasts that want a good place to go check out and actually be able to get some good evidence, Old Macedonia Cemetery in Bartow County is one place to go. Right?
that's the only time I've actually ever, that I recall us ever getting a K2 hit down there.
Well, no, that night Scotty was down there with us.
Well, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Scotty communicated with that girl, 17-year-old girl, for probably 20, 30 minutes down there.
Yeah.
And, and we've also had the flashlight ordeal there at Mr. Kiefer's.
Well, just for his K2, like the actual K2 meter. That's one of the very few times I've ever seen a K2 meter go off. Even up at Old South Pittsburgh, we've had activity with a REM pod. Then we have gotten a couple hits off K2 the first time we went up there with Renee. But other than that, you don't really see K2 spikes very often unless it's something to do with electronics or whatever, anything that has electromagnetic field.
Right. Well, actually, we proved ourselves to ourselves the other night that it was not our phones. causing the K2 meter to spike. You know, uh, whatever it was actually something trying to communicate from the beyond with us that night. And you know, like I said,
Well,
it was
even that's the reason I took a move to K2 so far away. I mean, just to make sure I moved it, probably 5, 6 foot from us. Set it on the ground.
and I have had some encounters with them at other places. There was a big cemetery over at out from Dawsonville that I visited a few years back with some friends of mine, and we had some good hits on the K2 meter over there that night. Got a few voice recordings that night that uh, uninvited uh, uninvited voices. Uh,
K2's never really been my go-to thing. Like, I've never really gotten a whole lot of activity with a K2 meter.
okay, what about now with the spirit boxes? Have you had any luck with spirit boxes?
I've never really used them. I mean, other than, I've tried a few apps on the phone, which are nothing but junk. So, I mean, we've used one up at Old South Pittsburgh, but I mean, I I don't know how I feel about. I get the concept of spirit boxes, but just from personal experience, I can't really speak on it.
Well,
I'm
there's
more
something
of
else
a,
that,
I'm more of a video and take pictures and EVP person. I don't like to use all this newer stuff. Use a flashlight every once in a while.
well, I know that Blake and I have some friends that was on the show a few weeks ago from our haunted lives, and uh, they were showing us a few films that they've done, and then I've watched them on YouTube, and they're really big into using dowling rods, and now I've actually never tried that in my investigations, but
Something
that's
I would like
something
to use. Yeah.
that's something that I want to try out. Uh, Blake, you got any experience with those, buddy?
No, but that's what I was just getting ready to say. Is I'd like to use some. I mean, I've watched a lot of Neil and David's videos with them using the dowsing rods, and a lot of people believe in them. So it's pretty
I
much
mean,
I like to give them a try.
right. I mean, you know, and if there's anyone out there that has got anything that we haven't picked up on tonight as far as uh, things to try, let us know. Send us an email, northwestgeorgiacryptics@gmail.com. Give us a little input on some of the things that y'all folks use on y'all's investigations, and Blake and I'll be glad to give them a try. You know, I'm always up to anything that I can learn new that will help us in the paranormal and the Bigfoot
I mean,
investigation.
I've used grid light. I mean, we've used grid lights up at the hospital. That's pretty neat. I mean, REM pod. I mean, REM pod's probably one. REM pod's kind of like a K2 to a certain extent. It works kind of the same way, but look, kind of the same way. But I have gotten activity on a REM pod. I was up at the hospital, and I was sitting on Miss Nellie's bed, and I communicated with her for a couple of minutes with a REM pod.
And it actually worked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I talk to a lot of people on here. I'm a member of a lot of different groups, Bigfoot and paranormal groups on YouTube, and I know that I've talked to a lot of people that have tried various techniques over the years that's worked for them. Uh, I know myself when we go to the cemeteries, I like using still cameras because I've actually caught some pretty amazing things. There's a camera that, or fit that I used to have on the computer before it crashed. We were down at Macedonia one night. This has been years ago. I was taking pictures, just walking through the cemetery, taking pictures, and you walk up over the hill there at the back, and there's an old roadbed that goes off down to Alpena Lake. And I was standing there taking pictures. Well, I had snapped a couple of pictures down that old roadbed, and I didn't see this on the actual camera itself until we got back home and we put the card, the SD card, in the computer and started running pictures off. And one of the ones that I had taken down the old roadbed there had it was like a round sphere, like a cylinder of light, and it came up the ground up about 4 foot, and at the bottom it just started out just like a real light, and then as it got up toward the top, it the light really intensified, but it just, you could tell that it was a round sphere about maybe 3 foot in diameter and about 4 foot high. And like I said, it just started out real light at the bottom, and then as it got up toward the top, the interior or the light that it gave off really intensified up toward the top. And that was one of the probably one of the, I guess, wildest things that I've taken on still camera down there. That, and we used to get a lot of orbs, multicolored orbs with still camera. Blake and I've actually saw a orb down there one night uh, that actually floated out, and that thing was, well, how big would you say that thing was, Blake?
It had to be 3 or 4 foot around. I mean, as far as the way we were from, I mean, we weren't super far. What do you say? Probably 30 yards, 40 yards.
Probably, yeah.
But I mean, far enough where, I mean, this thing was good size at that distance. I mean, it, it was probably, yeah, probably about 3 foot, I'd say. Would that be a pretty good? I
Yeah, that
mean,
would have been a good estimate. And this thing was actually, what, head higher, a little higher, and it just came out.
Remember, it was pretty decently high off the ground.
Yeah, it was because it came out of the tree line and came out, across the field and hovered in front of us. And it was pretty good height.
But it was probably 10, 15 foot off the ground.
Probably.
Which, that's I don't know if you've ever actually read up on like a lot of the history of the lake. Far as Allatoona actually has a lot of paranormal around, just in general around the lake. They actually reports of phantom lights and mystery lights in the woods. I don't know. Maybe that's what we saw. Maybe it's what people report seeing down there. I mean,
Allatoona has a lot of history behind it as far as the Cherokee, because you're not far from where we're at.
Well, not only that, just the Civil War.
Right.
And the Civil War came all through there. That's one reason people believe that a lot of that land around there is haunted.
Right, because maybe 15, 20 minutes from where we're at, you drive back over to the boat ramp over there from Metal Bridge. There's a trail that comes through there.
Allatoona Pass?
Yeah, Alpena Pass, yeah. Yeah, and that was actually one of the big spots for the Civil War battles. And also, like I was going to mention a minute ago, as far as the Cherokee is concerned down there, you're not 20 minutes or so from the Etowah Indian mounds that are in that area down there. So yeah, there's a lot of paranormal history that goes with the lake down there.
Yeah.
And as far as the there's no telling, to the extent of old towns like Macedonia that were actually covered over by the lake down there when they built it back in what I think the 1930s. Uh,
No, I don't think Alatoona is that old. I want to say 50s.
well, I know I'm 62 years old, and that lake's been there as long as I can remember. Uh,
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know how old exactly Alatoona is.
I'm thinking maybe what I read here on the internet one day is maybe the 40s is when that lake was actually built. Uh, but it was. Let me check my phone here. I just got an email.
But as far as me, I'm more of personal experiences and EVPs. That's been the most how I've got my best evidence.
I know we've got some good voice recordings down there over the years. We've had a lot of Sasquatch activity down there. Blake has actually saw a family of three Sasquatch there himself. So if they people out there that actually want to get into this and do the investigations, that's one good area. Blue Ridge WMA at LJ is another hot spot as far as Sasquatch is concerned. Blake and I've had howls and whoops and wood knocks and some pretty strange stuff going over at Blue Ridge. How you liable to even encounter, be like Blake and them and encounter the U.S. Army while you're over there. So, that's a good area. Another area is up on oh God, the mountain in Tennessee, Big Frog Mountain. I've actually had Bigfoot activity up there. A couple of friends of ours has had some very recently up there. I've got a lot of reports from up there. Used to work with a guy back in the 80s, as far back as the 80s, that he and his brother had an encounter up there one night with what they call the hairy man that came in and destroyed the camp that they had, and it actually frightened his brother so bad that his brother was younger than him, but his brother wouldn't even go back up there on the mountain because of it. So, this the whole North Georgia area is a hotbed for this type of activities. And uh, as far as BFRO is concerned, I think they've got L&J and Blue Ridge. I tried to think the name of the trail up there that leads off from Blue Ridge, just below the Bigfoot Museum over there that goes back in on Springer Mountain across. Uh, that whole area through there, there's been awesome Bigfoot sightings through there. Blood Mountain. Uh, I spoke with a boy here a couple of weeks ago that had an encounter over on Blood Mountain back in 2017. He said he actually saw two of these creatures actually approached his camp, and when they actually realized that he was there in camp, uh, they had fled back into the woods. But he said these things, people think that when you're out like that, you've got a big campfire going, that these things won't approach your campfire. Well, he said that he had a bonfire going that night, and they actually came to the fire. So these creatures are,
Curious.
yeah, they're very curious creatures. They sure are, and they will come and check you out. Uh, as far as having encounters that I've spoken to a lot of people that have had a lot of bad encounters with Sasquatch. Uh, and even the paranormal over the years. But then I've spoken with people that have had mundane encounters with Sasquatch that they say the creatures to them acted more like a gentle teddy bear, just standing and watching them. But you take a creature that's 8 foot tall and weighs uh, in the neighborhood of 800 pounds that can break tree limbs 11 foot off the ground, snap them like twigs, and I'm talking tree limbs that are 6, 8 inches in diameter, and reach up and snap those things like they're toothpicks. Uh, I don't know how gentle those creatures would actually be. What's your thoughts on that, Blake?
I think it's like just how humans are. You're gonna have good ones, you're gonna have bad ones, you're gonna have ones that have bad days. I think a lot of aggressive behavior comes when they have an adolescent around. Anytime they have their children around or anything like that, I mean it's animal nature. Humans are the same way. So I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the circumstance of the encounter.
Well, now the ones that you encountered down at the lake, they had a small juvenile with them. Did you get any feeling of hostility from the big male that was in that group, or do you think
No,
they
no,
wanted to
I personally didn't. I personally didn't. I think they were just that their main objective was just to get out of there once they realized we were there. Dale got fairly close to them, and I mean, they didn't show no aggressive behavior towards him.
So I mean, what is your thoughts? Do you think these things would hurt a man if they're put into the right
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure they would. I mean, they are stories of people getting attacked. I mean, but I don't think it's just everyday behavior with them. I mean, if it was everyday behavior with them, I mean, people would, you just be walking through the woods and get took out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, if that was their main objective, I mean, they'd be hunting us every time we're in the woods.
I've had experiences, and you have too, with them having thrown rocks at us.
I think
Snap.
that's more of a hey, we're here, get the hell out situation. I mean, you know, they got to be good aims because all the times we've had stuff thrown at us, we've never been hit. So I mean, I think it's if they were wanting to hurt us, they would hurt us. I mean, they're not just going to toss something at you. That's just that's aggressive behavior, but it's not
Not to the point.
aggressive to the point of hurting you. I mean, it's just more their way of telling you, hey, we're here, but just please leave.
Well, actually, I think they play on our own fear. Uh, as far as that's concerned, they actually they sense that
Well,
we're afraid of.
it's intimidation. I
Right.
mean, they know. I mean, I think they figured it out that hey, stuff like that scares us. So it's aggressive, but it's aggressive and just an intimidation factor. They're not intentionally trying to hurt you. I'm sure if they were intentionally trying to hurt you, they just come out of the woods and eat you.
Well, it's like this, folks. You know, anytime you're in the woods like that, deer hunting or whatever, late at night, and you start having rocks bombard your camp, sticks break. I've had people report that they've actually been bluff charged with these things. They've uh, had their camps raided, coolers turned over, tents torn down, whatever. But yet, even with all these reports over the years, there is very few of them that actually said that they had been hurt by one of these creatures. So,
I mean, I hear more of stories of them protecting people than hurting people.
right. Yeah, I got a
And
letter.
in the aggressive stories I have heard, the people live to tell. You know what I'm saying? Like a creature that big, if they really wanted to hurt you and kill you, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be able to tell your story. I think their aggressive behavior is just intimidation behavior. I don't think that they really want to hurt you at the end of the day.
Right. But I'm here to tell you, some of the things that I've had happen late at night, you're in the woods 5-10 miles away from anybody.
Oh, I don't care. I don't care if it's teddy bear. I mean, it's still scary. I mean, they'll prove the fear of God in you. I mean,
Oh, yes, they will, no doubt. They sure
but
will.
I think they know that. I think that they know that they're bigger than us. They intimidate us, and I think a lot of the aggressive behavior that a lot of people tell is more bluff behavior. Makes
Well,
sense. I mean,
I get a
because I
lot
mean,
of.
how many people? I mean, of course, they're not a database that keeps up with it, but how many people have actually been killed by Bigfoot? I mean, I know they're reported of a few, quote unquote, other than like the missing 411 stuff and stuff like that. That's conspiracy all on its own about like the missing 411. But does that play into UFOs? That goes, I think, a little bit more beyond than just Sasquatch or Bigfoot. But I mean, truthfully though, like you don't. I mean, I don't know if you would hear something like that if somebody gets killed by Bigfoot, but I mean, here this creature is, anywhere from 4 foot to, being a child to, reports of 11, 12 foot tall, supposedly, 1,000 pounds. But yet you hear people getting killed by bear and all this other stuff. So, I mean, but, I don't know how I really feel about the whole.
Well, that goes back to the Dennis Martin case in the 1959 in the Great Smoky Mountains. Dennis's family, his father, his grandfather, and 2 siblings, along with Dennis, went up to the Smokies on Father's Day that year for an outing. Dennis's dad and his granddad was actually standing at the top of this meadow watching the kids play. Dennis was 6 year old. He was playing with his brothers there in the field. Another family, also named Martin, and their children came up. They joined the first bunch of Martins playing in the field. Dennis's dad reported that he saw Dennis go underneath a bush, hiding from his brothers and the other children. I guess playing hide and go seek, like kids do. He said in about 20, 30 minutes, his dad said that he hadn't seen Dennis come back out from under the bush that he went under. So they went down and Dennis was gone. Well, about 3 miles across the park from where they were at, the Key family was also out enjoying the day, and they encountered what uh, they said appeared to them to be a tall uh, man with a lot of facial hair, looked real shaggy, up on top of a hill from them, about 100 yards, 150 yards from them, and it looked like it had a bundle of clothes or something thrown over its shoulder. Okay, they alerted the park rangers. Park rangers came in, and this is where the story gets kind of wild. The park rangers came in, and they also hunted until after dark that night. Well, by dark, the uh, the Marines were called in. Special Forces. They came in, they stayed 2 weeks up there in the park. Now, looking for this kid, but the only thing was that they did no type of coordination with any other law enforcement agency that was up there. The Marines did. They had nothing to do with the other law enforcement that was up there in the park doing these searches, and they only done their investigations and their searches at night. After about, well, I said 2 weeks. After about 10 days, they just up and abruptly pulled out completely. A couple of large, they said that the night they left, there were a couple of large flatbed trucks brought in. The flatbeds were tarped when they came back out, and then the special forces, helicopters and all, pulled all their men out, and nothing was ever said to any of the other people about it. And the conspiracy behind this is that they actually knew that those creatures were up there before the park was ever open, before the park was ever even dedicated in the late 30s, early 40s. And the conspiracy is that they actually brought those forces in and sent them in at night to kill these creatures. And people say that that was what was tarped on the flatbeds when they came back out the night that they all left.
Yeah.
So, you get a lot of different conspiracy theories along with anything else on this stuff, but it's, would be strange to me that they would actually act in this manner and, not coordinate anything that they were doing with the other official agencies that were up there.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, I mean, there are definitely plenty of stories out there. I'm just speaking on, kind of my personal opinion and my personal experiences. As close as we've been to them at times, I mean, if they wanted to hurt us, they would have hurt us. Like I said, I think most of it just has to do with the situation of the encounter and the situation of the crossing of paths, shall we say.
Right.
I think if it's just one alone and you just happen to stumble upon it and you show no aggression, I think they're just going to go their other way. But I mean, sure, just like any other animal, you stumble up upon one and they've got a baby with them. I mean, they're going to act like what they are. I mean, a human or animal. Same as we do, same as every other animal does.
Right, and the main belief is throughout the Bigfoot community is these things actually uh, uh, exist basically the same way humans do. They have their young, they maintain a family group just like we do. Whether it be three of them, whether it be five of them, 10 of them, or whatever. They pack together in clans, they say. And, I've had people tell me that they, Karriston had left a comment here, LOL, I will hear about me being spooked for the rest of my life.
I love you, baby, if you're watching.
And also, that's why I don't trust Bigfoot. Don't want to go missing.
You're not going to go missing, I promise.
Blake sounded me like you got to take care of her, buddy. I think she'll leave paranormal around with you.
She's fine. She's fine with the paranormal. She just don't get down with the whole Bigfoot thing.
Oh, I believe she'd run off and live.
I've never seen her scared like she was scared the other night. And it wasn't even the fact of the cemetery or being out there at night. She just didn't want to do anything to do with the woods. And you started talking about it on the way down there, so you already had her spooked.
Hey, that's all right. She'll get over it.
No, she just never end up back down there at night.
Probably not. Not at night anyway.
It's okay though.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, like I told her, I was the same way when I started going down there. I used to be. I mean, I'm not scared to admit that my bravery did not come overnight. My bravery came after over time and time and time and time of being scared shitless.
I don't think it does this type of investigations. I don't think their bravery comes overnight. I
No,
don't care what one says. I've been out with people that's been doing this for 40 years that actually get frightened. So, you know,
nowadays I'll take off by myself. I don't care. I walk through the cemetery with no flashlight. But I mean, when me and Ricky first started getting into paranormal, I mean, how many times did we go down there and I wouldn't even get out of the car? I
well,
mean,
I do remember the first night we went down there, we wouldn't get out of the car. Either one of us wouldn't. So, and we've had a lot of wild encounters down there. Not only with paranormal, with Bigfoot. We uh we went down one night going to do an investigation. Had a couple of buddies with us, and got down there, and we rounded a curve going over to the cemetery, and my God, they were 100 law cars just scattered everywhere down there, and a Channel 2 news van, and come to find out, someone had shot the front end out of a state trooper's car, and the Bartow County law had chased them over to that area, and they had abandoned their car and escaped into the woods. And like idiots, we still went to the cemetery that night, even with all that going on. So, yeah, your bravery does come along. As you do this, you get a little braver each time you do it.
yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna say I still don't get scared a little bit, but I don't. I know how to control the fear now. Like, I mean, you realize that more than likely you're gonna be all right. I mean, when I first couple encounters I ever had with either paranormal or Bigfoot, I was wondering if I was gonna live that night. But I mean, after it happening enough and doing it enough, I mean, it just still gotta be careful. Still don't be an idiot. But I mean,
Oh no, don't push it. You don't push your luck. Not doing this, you do not. Uh, and there's a lot of things that people don't
if I
realize.
feel if I feel threatened or anything like that, I'm still gonna pack my stuff up and leave. I mean, all because I'm braver don't mean that I'm not gonna act on my gut feelings. I mean, but if I'm scared, everybody needs to be scared.
Right, right. I'll agree with that. I'm basically about the same way. I know now I'm like you. I could, well, and we've done it here in a few months ago. Uh, Before I got injured and all, we were going down there and setting up camp and sleeping within 100 yards of the cemetery, and it didn't bother me a bit. Uh, to be out at night in cemeteries now does not bother me. To be out in the woods, be out in the woods, hunting for something as big as Bigfoot really doesn't bother me. Uh, but as you've always got to remember, you know, once you're out there in the woods in that area, you're in their territory. Uh, you're not in your home anymore, you're in theirs. And with that said, anything could happen. You could actually encounter anything. And not only a Sasquatch or a dog man, but, a pack of wild coyotes. We have red wolves in this area now.
See, I'm more scared of running into a pack of coyotes or something like that than I am. I mean, I know it sounds bad, but then I am or running across some boars or something like that than I am Sasquatch.
Right. Well, I got a call this past week, for instance, from my relatives up in Tennessee, and my aunt and uncle, who both are passed now, but their youngest son, he's like a year or 2 years younger than I am, and he actually came up missing a couple of weeks ago, and I got a phone call. I think it was on Monday night, and they told me that they had found a body up there in the mountains above where he had been known to deer hunt at, and the body they said appeared to have been partially eaten by a black bear. They actually sent the body to Knoxville, and they still haven't called me back, to verify whether it was him or not. But they had sent the body to. It was so distorted. They had sent it to over to Knoxville, and they were going to do DNA test on him on the body to see if it was him. But and the reason I'm even mentioning this is the fact that there are things out there that in the woods that can actually kill you. And that's the reason I always close the show every week with, telling people that if you encounter one of these things or you encounter anything like that in the woods, remember, you're in their territory. They know more about that area. They know as much about that area as you do about your own living room. And, they know how to stalk you. They know how to approach you, and they know how to kill you if it comes to that. And that's the reason I tell everybody, if you encounter something like this, back out of the area and let them have it. Don't play Billy Badass and jump in there and try to catch one of these things, because believe me, all you're going to do is come to a bad end. Your thoughts, Blake? Hey, Blake, I'm sorry, bud. I've lost your audio. I lost your audio. Blake, can you hear me? Audio. Folks, sorry, we're having audio difficulty with Blake.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I broke it.
You broke it?
Yeah, I turned my truck on.
Oh, Lord, you're trying to be an IT guy yourself now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Hey, that don't work, believe me. It hasn't for me for the past 3 weeks.
No, what I was saying is, I agree with that. I mean, with any time going into the woods or anything like that, I mean, pay attention to your surroundings. I mean, like I said, if your gut's telling you one thing, listen to your gut. I mean, that it's like I was saying earlier, all because I have an opinion that I don't think all of them are just out trying to kill people. I mean, but like I said, you never know. You may come across one with a child, or just one having a bad day. I mean, we don't know much about their behaviors other than what we encounter as humans. So just be careful.
That's exactly it. Well, folks, I think we've talked about as much as we've got to talk about tonight. So Blake and I are going to sign off here. But again, as I always said, or as I always say, if you encounter one of these things, back out. If you're out doing paranormal investigations, if you encounter something that you're not comfortable with, back out of the area and leave, because believe me, uh, these things, as Blake will testify, can come home with you. So, and people taking Ouija boards to the cemeteries and things of this nature.
No,
Uh,
that's one thing. That's one thing. As far as paranormal goes, yes, I am a paranormal investigator, but I do not believe in provoking in negative ways. I do not believe in any Ouija boards, anything like that. I'm a firm believer when it comes to paranormal stuff. If you want to go around, ask questions, and communicate, that's cool. You still have a risk of coming in contact with something that's not from this earth per se. I don't want to use the word demon, but yes, demons. Um, just don't go around poking at things that you shouldn't be poking out. That's my that's my best advice I can give anybody that wants to ever be a paranormal investigator. I mean, like I said, you still have risk of running into unnice, or we'll call them angry spirits. Um, so yeah, just be careful.
Yeah, and that comes from the guy that's our actual paranormal guy in the group, and it's as Blake says, you know, the use of Ouija boards, in my opinion, is just asking for trouble. Especially, if you're in their realm, their setting, that's something that I do not believe in fooling with. I do not believe in it at all. Uh, you know, a couple of our friends use what they call a
Now
spirit
that
board.
we were talking about bad encounters with Bigfoot, that is something that's heavily documented. Is people getting possessed by spirits and demons and stuff like that. I'm a firm believer in that. That's the reason I say don't poke at things you shouldn't poke at. That can change your life forever.
And that from Mr. Blake Duckworth, our paranormal guy.
Hey, I'm nice when I talk to spirits. I ain't trying to piss nothing off.
Well, I have seen a time or two that you've been not so nice, but
No.
yeah, a couple of times over the years.
What did I say?
I can't remember now, Blake. It's been so long, but it's one night down at the cemetery. Uh, you kept on and kept on, and we finally got a couple of responses that.
Oh no! You talking about when Mr. Keeper told us to leave?
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean that was just asking a simple question. I asked him if he didn't like us being there and let us know. He let us know.
Well, that's true. They will do that, no doubt. No doubt.
I mean, we did get cussed down a couple times, but the bad EVPs we ever got down there, remember, we weren't ever doing anything.
Right.
I mean, we got some, we got a couple hateful EVPs. I can't remember exactly what they were down there, but I know we got to leave effing now.
Yeah, want us to die. Um, so yeah, we have encountered quite a few of them down there. Well, not quite a few of them, but we have encountered a few of them. So on the realm of anything, uh, whether it be Bigfoot, investigations, whether it be paranormal, you're going to run into these things that don't want you around, and they're going to let you know. And if they let you know, back out and leave. That's my best advice to you. If they tell you to leave, if they're throwing rocks as big as basketballs at you, hurtling sticks at you, you know, uh, they're not going to have to come in and grab me up and shake me and tell me to leave. If they're just directing me in the point that they want me to leave, I'm going to back out and leave.
Well, as always, guys, let's help get this channel back up to the subscribers we had on the other channel due to our technical difficulties. If you would, please give us a subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit the like button, show us some support. We need all the support we can get, and we sure do appreciate it, guys.
Right, and as I said the other day in one of my posts on Facebook, the reason we got this channel up and going, it's for you, the people out there that enjoy Sasquatch, investigations, enjoy the paranormal, or whether it be from ghost hunting, UFOs, whatever, the cryptics, any type of cryptics, Dog Man, whatever. We're here to discuss anything that you want to discuss. If you've got questions, all you got to do is type them in, and we'll answer your questions. I mean, that's no problem. If we know the answer to it, we will answer it. But we're here for your enjoyment. We're here to shed a little extra light on some of the things that we've had happen to us. Share our knowledge with y'all, and make y'all feel welcome. So please, as Blake said, please, anybody that's watched tonight or watching in the future, please hit the subscribe buttons. Show us that you like the content. Hit like, hit that bell notification, and just join us and enjoy it, guys. From Rick Weaver, Northwest Georgia Cryptics. Thank y'all very much for joining us. Blake.
Have a good night, guys, and thank you guys as always.
All right. I'm going to end the broadcast. Thanks, everybody.